Hello, this is David Nevins for Citybiz List, and my guest today is Scott Attman, Vice President of the Acme Paper and Supply Company. Welcome, Scott.
Good afternoon. Happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Sure. So let's start with the name of your company, Acme Paper and Supply. I know that you are way more than a paper company. Tell our viewers and listeners and readers what your company is all about, because I know it's incredibly expansive.
Yeah, we have an interesting business, family business, and I'll talk about that a little later. My uncle always says we're almost a holding clearinghouse of 5 different businesses under one umbrella. So what we do, we're a distribution organization that works with clients to deliver customized solutions specific to their businesses. We do this providing products, concepts, cost-effective solutions to our clients across 5 divisions. 5 divisions in no particular order are restaurant equipment and kitchen design, smallwares and tabletop, food service packaging, hygiene and facility solution, and industrial packaging. So what does all that mean? We do a lot of things under one roof. We're most recognized for our commitment to sustainability, as well as building custom branded products and solutions throughout all of these divisions to all of our clients. We recognize that our clients are all unique, and it's our responsibility to help them differentiate themselves from their competitors. We service the majority of our clients in the greater Mid-Atlantic region through 2 distribution centers, one in Jessup, Maryland, one in Richmond, Virginia. We also consult and support strategic client partners on a national level as well. And as I mentioned, family business, we have 2 active generations in the business. I'm part of the 3rd generation, in total 7 family members in the business, but we always say we have 250 extended family members helping us stay in line and do the right job for our clients.
Well, I know that you've just celebrated your 75th anniversary in business. Talk a little bit about your founding and who was involved in that, and then how you got to today, 2021.
Yeah, so it's an incredible story. So my grandfather, Edward Attman, started the business, and his parents were immigrants to the United States, and they had a delicatessen in Baltimore called Attman's Delicatessen, still active, and the oldest Jewish delicatessen in the country, owned by the original family, and they're going, I think, on 106 years. So his mother said to him, the business will be here if you need it, but why don't you try something else? There's a man who sells us paper bags. The product doesn't spoil. He wears a nice suit. So why don't you try that? So out of the trunk of his car, he started selling paper bags, napkins, butcher paper to local merchants, drugstores, liquor stores, other delis, and small markets throughout downtown Baltimore. And even the name Acme, as you alluded to earlier, is an interesting name. He picked the name Acme because he wanted to be first in the phone book. Our last name is Attman. That would have put us towards the top, but there was another name that would have been ahead of it. So it was his mother's suggestion that we use Acme, which means like zenith or top of the mountain. And that helped put us first in the phone book, which was really how people got recognized at the time. So 75 years later, my grandfather, he would always tell me 14 years he worked Acme during the day, he worked at Attman's during night, and he really built this really on his back with my grandmother, and they built the business from nothing. And I would ask him, he passed away at the age of 95 a few years ago, and worked really up to the day that he went in the hospital. And I would always ask him through his eyes, could he ever imagine having built something like this? And he said, took a lot of hard work, a tremendous amount of hard work. And he would be the first one to say, and a good amount of luck along the way. And he always said he was fortunate to have great people around him to help give him advice and provide opportunities. So over the years, he was fortunate to meet people that helped push us in different directions and grow the business. He always asked a question, and it really is the core of our business, is what's new? And he didn't mean like what happened yesterday that you want to tell me about. It was always with a vision to look forward. Where are we going? Don't tell me about yesterday. Tell me about where we're heading. Tell me something new, because if we're going to be of value to our clients, we need to be looking forward. And that drove him from day one, through the 72 years that he was working in the business. And I think that's the foundation of who we are and what we do.
That's a great story. I know that you are one of those businesses that has been very busy during the pandemic. Let me ask you to talk. Let's take the restaurant industry, for example. Most of us had been used to going to a restaurant and eating inside. Now we go there for pickup. And if I'm not mistaken, many hundreds, if not thousands, of area restaurants are using your products and allowing the food to stay warm and hot as you take it home to eat.
Look, it's the same for us as most businesses. I think the word of the year was pivot. And we were fortunate to pivot. We were fortunate to pivot fast and quick. And almost alluding to my grandfather's idea of, what's new. We were looking forward at the right time, and we made some strategic decisions to get the right products in stock for our clients so we could help service them. In regards to the restaurant, or even as we call it, the food service industry, I think we are a good mirror of that industry. Food service exists in many forms and functions. So, we work with schools and education that were shut down. So we felt the impact on that on our business. We work with stadiums and sports and entertainment facilities like amusement parks. Those were shut down, and the beaches. So we felt the pressure, and we felt the decline of business in those areas. At the same time, we recognized the need to put new products and different products into food service establishments. One thing that we've always been really passionate about is packaging matters. It's that first impression. Before you ever taste the food, you see the food and you see it in the packaging. And some of our clients always recognize that. And we work with fast casual change to full service groups, and even in sports and entertainment, where they understand part of that experience is the packaging. What we saw happen COVID in this pandemic was people recognized that form, fit, function of packaging mattered. So there was a big increase of interest in microwavable packaging. There was a big interest in packaging that fit properly in bags so it could be transported. And there was a big interest in packaging that could be sealed or recognized because it was going out through third-party deliveries, that it was getting from the restaurant to someone's home safely. So those are all areas that we spent a lot of time solving challenges for our clients over the past year.
Thanks to your company, the food service industry has come a long way from just the Chinese restaurant take-home carton, which wouldn't really suffice with the restaurants today and all the food that they're preparing for us to consume at home.
It's been a a strategic plan that we've put in place to go find the right products. Even as I mentioned in my opening comments, we focus a lot on sustainability. So even moving from, and my grandfather would always say, over the course of his time, he started everything with paper, and then, through his later years, we came back to paper and sustainable materials. So, he found that always, somewhat comical that, all things that pendulum swing return back from where they come. But we look at materials, we look at the functionality of packaging, and we recognize that it needs to work, and that the importance of the packaging really does matter to our clients, and they see it in their business. When people have a choice to pick up food from a certain restaurant, the experience at home needs to meet the experience in the restaurant. Mm-hmm. And we want to help our clients deliver that experience to their customers.
I heard that you are the region's biggest provider of Purell sanitizer. Is that accurate? And tell us about your work in healthcare and keeping us safe during this pandemic.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of the solutions that we've delivered to our clients are things that we've been working on for several years, if not decades. The pandemic has just pushed some of these situations to the surface, and people are more aware of them. So we have a long-standing relationship with Purell. We go back into the late 80s when we started working with them. And people thought the concept was crazy then about a product that you could put on your hands without soap and water and just walk around and actually effectively kill germs. But we were on the forefront of that. We maintained that relationship. It's a partnership that we cherish. And this past year, they were really they were a great strategic partner for us. And even in their own business, they had to go back and look at how they ran their business so they could continue to get product out the door. But we support a lot of hospitals, we support a lot of nursing homes, and they never went a day without product this year. There were moments where we had to really push through and make sure that we did the job we needed to support them. But we did, and we recognized that those products were critical to keep our community safe. Additionally, we saw new technologies come on over the past couple of years, electrostatic spraying. So it's a piece of equipment that essentially allows you to apply disinfectant to a surface instead of a manual process where people spray and wipe and you leave the opportunity for human error to miss a space or not for it to be applied properly to a surface. You spray using this electronic sprayer that creates electrostatic energy to the disinfectant. And that disinfectant falls on a surface and grabs a surface from 365 degrees. So if you think of a bed rail, you could walk through a room and just spray a bed rail in a hospital and it grabs the entire bed rail 365 degrees. Chairs, tables, desks, computers, whatever it may be. So we've seen that in education facilities from early preschool all the way up through universities and through the K through 12. Obviously, hospitals and healthcare, even in restaurants, looking for ways to more efficiently do the job of disinfectant and efficiently by applying it properly to make sure it's being done to kill the appropriate bacteria and pathogens, in addition to even cost effectively because it takes less human hours and labor hours, which is something that's been challenging for our clients. Other cool things that we saw come to the industry this past year was a product called BioProtect. BioProtect is another product that we can apply to a disinfected surface where no pathogen can live on that surface for up to 90 days. So you can treat a surface for a quarter and no pathogen can live on that. So once it's disinfectant, whether it's COVID to strep or salmonella, all of those surfaces are protected. So think about going into the metro. Think about going into just a retail building, knowing that the door handles have been treated or the poles that you're using to hold yourself have been treated. We can apply these technologies all over and really create a safer environment. And then the other thing that we were very, very early and fortunate to do is jump into PPE. We've always handled those products. It's been something we've done, whether it's face masks to gowns, and eye protection, obviously not in the volume that we did this past year. But again, we were fortunate to have strategic partners to help us keep businesses ranging from food service to hospitals safe this past year.
Well, Scott, that's you're clearly a lot more than paper, and you've come a long way in last 75 years. Let me ask you this last question. You have not been with the company most of the last 75 years, but I suspect are likely to be with the company most of the next 75. So how do you see the future of Acme Paper and Supply playing out in the Mid-Atlantic region? And where do you see the company going? And what's the next trick up your sleeve, I guess I'm asking?
Yeah, that's a great question. And that's the question that keeps me up at night. And I think it's the question that keeps most strategic entrepreneurs up at night, which is, where are we going? And we recognize, our business is 75 years old. And sometimes I get envious of a new startup business, how nimble they can be and how quick they can shift and adjust their business, whether it's from culture and from strategy. So over the past year, just before the pandemic, we started to take a hard look at our technology and what we were doing from a technology perspective. We're always looking at products, and the industry and the suppliers and manufacturers know when there are new ideas to come to Acme Paper, because we're always willing to take the risk and find new products to bring to market. That's a given. But we recognize internally that we really need to leverage more technology. Our clients want to be more they want to have more data, they want to have more transparency, and we want to be more effective behind the scenes. So we're doing a new ERP implementation. We're working with new online ordering programs. And in the next coming months, we're really excited that we're going to be launching some new technology that's going to help us really reimagine how we go to market and how we deliver customer experiences and data information. And we're really, really excited about that.
Well, Scott Attman of Acme Paper and Supply, thank you for joining us on Citybiz List. You know, one of the challenges of doing these interviews by Zoom, when the pandemic's over, had we done it then, I would have hoped you would have brought me a corned beef sandwich from Attman's. So here's to the next time. But best of luck again, Scott, with all the great things you're doing, keeping us safe and allowing us to eat well and all these other things during the pandemic. Scott, thanks so much.
I appreciate you for having me. I really appreciate being with you today. I owe you a corned beef sandwich, and I'll get you some Purell as well.
I won't forget.
Very good.
Thanks.